After spraying the undercoating on the car, I'm now ready to move on to the next stage. And that will be installing the rear end, new springs, and all that associated hardware. The spring brackets, I got them all cleaned up, coated in POR 15. And if I don't like the stance of the car, I have 1-inch lowering blocks in there, and I can lower it additionally. Some new fuel tank straps. Have some 1/2-inch U-bolts for the rear. I'll have to drill out those lower plates to clear the 1/2-inch bolts. Have a new Detroit Speed rear shackle set. And I have a set of Detroit Speed polyurethane rear bushings for the springs. There a new fuel cap. There's some other associated bits in there. There's some parts for the front suspension in there as well. But the rear end gets all urethane bushings. Some lube for the rear end. I got some new wheel cylinders. New transmission mount, rear mount. And there's some, I think, a vacuum line, some copper header collector gaskets, some U-joint, some ball joint covers for the front, and a radio delete plate. And I think I'm going to convert the car to radio delete, but I probably won't get to that until I do the interior sometime down the road. It'll need to be dyed in interior color. Got a really nice Mosier rear end cover. Some of the rear hardware, the bump stops, some exhaust hangers, a few parking brake pieces. All the hardware has been cleaned and painted. So that stuff's all ready to install. This is the original fuel tank pickup and fuel gauge sender. And that was working fine when I took out the old tank, so I'm going to reuse it. I have a new fuel tank, so that'll look pretty spiffy underneath the car. And there's new brake lines in that box. I got these posters from Ames, and the reproductions of actual magazine ads blown up. I think they look pretty cool in the garage. 3-inch lowering springs from Detroit Speed. It's going to give the car a whole new look. I got fuel lines in that big box, new fuel lines. And below that box, that's the Addco rear sway bar. It's a big one. I think it's 1 inch. And a bunch of general hardware. Well, the next step before installing all those new parts will be to clean and paint the rear end. The rear end's going to get new brakes. And I don't know if the drums are good or not. I'll have to examine those. I don't remember. But once everything's cleaned and painted, and then I can install the rear end with the new springs. Well, I'll get started on this soon, as I'm eager to get the rear end back in the car. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll come along with me as we start putting some new parts in the car and putting it back together. I think that'll be kind of fun.